Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Shawn Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
The last hearing before Shawn Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, I mean, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. That helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
Music mogul Shawn Diddy Combs back behind bars, a magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, my concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Shawn Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Shawn Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's Black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a Black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
The world of music and entertainment is no stranger to scandals, but the case involving Shawn Diddy Combs is shaping up to be one of the most high-profile legal battles of our time. At the heart of it all is a federal trial that will decide the fate of one of the most influential figures in modern music. The prosecution is armed with what it claims is overwhelming evidence, but is it as airtight as it seems? And will Diddy, who has always maintained his innocence, be able to outmaneuver the legal system? This trial could have ramifications that go far beyond the courtroom, touching on everything from celebrity culture to the judicial process itself. The stakes are high, and the tension is palpable.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes. As his lawyers argue, the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
correct.
criminal,
I know that.
In the criminal case,
in the
criminal case, no.
Federal trafficking, racketeering, and charges beginning Monday morning.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
When a trial begins, the initial perception is everything. If jurors and the public believe the prosecution has an ironclad case, the defense is already at a disadvantage. In this case, the prosecution's evidence seemed powerful. Too powerful even? On a scale from 1 to 100, they were at a solid 95. Yet the case against Diddy has faltered in key areas. As the evidence has been presented, the narrative that once seemed unbreakable now appears to be losing momentum. dropping to a more moderate 88. This subtle shift could be a significant advantage for the defense, as it forces the jury to reassess their expectations. What initially seemed like an open and shut case suddenly looks much less clear-cut. For the defense, this is a golden opportunity.
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
Now, as far as jury selection goes, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
This is going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Is it going to go on for weeks? And
for sure, weeks.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So
you say you know he's innocent?
1,000%. Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
As the trial date looms closer, one of the most crucial developments has been Diddy's decision to reject a plea deal. The plea would have involved him admitting to trafficking and forced behavior, something he has vehemently denied. Diddy has stood firm in his belief that the encounters at the center of the case were consensual. For him, accepting a plea agreement would be tantamount to admitting guilt. He is determined to take his chances in front of a jury, hoping that they will believe his version of events. His rejection of the plea deal is a bold move that could either lead to his exoneration or a lengthy prison sentence. But one thing is clear: Diddy is not backing down. As the case unfolds, the public's perception of Diddy is being shaped by every new detail that comes to light. His lawyers' arguments about the events being consensual are not just about defending Diddy's actions, they are also about protecting his reputation. This trial is more than just a legal proceeding. It's a battle for the legacy of a man who has been a central figure in the music industry for decades. Whether he is found guilty or acquitted, the trial will likely affect his public image. Will the jury's decision clear his name, or will it cement a darker version of his legacy? Diddy's latest legal setback came when a magistrate judge denied him bail, citing concerns that he might not appear for future court appearances.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
We have the latest from federal court in the Shawn Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
The judge also noted that the crime in question occurred behind closed doors, making it difficult to gather definitive evidence. This denial has added fuel to the fire of public speculation. Some wonder whether this is a simple legal maneuver or if the court's refusal to release Diddy is an indication that the prosecution is preparing to present a devastating case. As the trial approaches, the tension continues to mount. Throughout the legal process, Diddy has been able to count on his family's support, yet at the latest hearing, something seemed off. The absence of his usual family members in the courtroom was striking. His sons, his mother, and his sister, who had been present at past hearings, were nowhere to be seen. Was it a simple scheduling conflict, or is there something more to this absence? Diddy's emotional state is under close scrutiny, and any sign of distress or isolation could influence how the jury perceives him. The presence or absence of family support plays a significant role in how the public and jurors view the accused, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. Despite the mounting pressure, Diddy remains resolute. He has repeatedly stated that he feels an obligation not only to his family, but to everyone who has ever felt targeted or mistreated by the system. For him, this trial is not just about clearing his name, it's about standing up against a larger issue of perceived injustice. Diddy's conviction that he is innocent and his desire to break the mold and show that a black man can triumph in federal court fuels his determination to fight the charges. He's not just battling the legal system. He's fighting for the principle that the system can be beaten no matter how stacked the odds might seem. The celebrity factor in this trial cannot be overstated. Jury selection in such a high-profile case is an exercise in balancing the scales of justice while navigating the powerful influence of public opinion. The perception that celebrity tapes are involved has already clouded the public's judgment. The case has drawn comparisons to the infamous Epstein scandal, and many jurors may be influenced by these associations. The defense team is keenly aware of this and will work hard to select a jury that can separate the man from the myth. But given the media frenzy surrounding the case, is it possible to find jurors who can remain impartial? In a surprising twist, pop superstar Justin Bieber has been named as a key witness in the case. Bieber's involvement has further complicated the public's perception of the trial. While Bieber has no direct financial or contractual ties to Diddy, his testimony could provide crucial insight into the events surrounding the case. The prosecution intends to use Bieber's observations to connect the dots between the alleged incidents and the broader entertainment world, showing how Diddy's influence may have extended far beyond the hip-hop industry. Bieber's testimony could serve as a powerful tool in the prosecution's efforts to establish a pattern of behavior. With the trial set to begin, the eyes of the world are on the courthouse. The spectacle of a pop icon like Bieber testifying against one of the most powerful figures in music is sure to attract unprecedented attention. As the trial unfolds, the narratives will become more complex. For Diddy, every piece of testimony will either bring him closer to freedom or seal his fate. The jury's decision will have a lasting impact on the lives of everyone involved, from the legal teams to the witnesses, the fans, and the public at large. The courtroom drama is just beginning, and only time will tell which way the scales of justice will tip. Being a celebrity defendant comes with its own unique set of challenges. Not only is Diddy fighting to clear his name, but he is doing so under the scrutiny of millions. Every gesture, every look, and every action is analyzed and interpreted by the public. Celebrities often face a different standard in the courtroom, where the jury is aware of their fame and the media's portrayal of them. In Diddy's case, his wealth, influence, and celebrity status may have already shaped the perceptions of those who are watching the case unfold. The defense will have to navigate these dynamics carefully, ensuring that the jury remains focused on the facts, not on Diddy's fame or public image. Regardless of the outcome, the case against Diddy is likely to have far-reaching consequences for the entertainment industry. The trial sheds light on the complex web of power, influence, and exploitation that can exist behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world. If Diddy is convicted, it could serve as a warning to other powerful figures in the industry. On the other hand, if he is acquitted, it could embolden others in positions of power to fight back against similar allegations. The trial, in many ways, serves as a microcosm of the entertainment industry's ongoing reckoning with issues of power dynamics, consent, and accountability. At the end of the day, the jury will be tasked with making a decision that could change the course of Diddy's life and career. Their role is to sift through the evidence, listen to the testimonies, and weigh the arguments presented by both the prosecution and the defense. They must decide whether Diddy is guilty of the charges against him or if the evidence is insufficient to convict. The decision will not only determine his fate, but will also send a message to the entertainment industry about what is acceptable behavior and what is not. The pressure on the jury is immense, as their verdict will reverberate far beyond the confines of the courtroom. The trial of Shawn Diddy Combs is not just a legal proceeding, it is a cultural event that has captured the attention of millions. With star power, complex legal arguments, and high stakes on the line, the trial promises to be one of the most significant in recent history. As it progresses, the public will continue to scrutinize every moment, every development, and every twist in the story. For Diddy, this trial represents a pivotal moment in his life, one that will define his legacy, his career, and his future. For the entertainment industry, it offers a glimpse into the complex intersection of power, fame, and accountability. Regardless of the outcome, the trial will resonate for years to come, shaping the way we view celebrity, justice, and the legal system.